Today we will be covering the basics of Illustrator, demonstrating how to create and edit shapes and lines, as well as use tools such as Align, Live Paint, and Pathfinder. When you open Illustrator with the Creative Cloud, the screen offers you a quick explanation of some useful tools and a couple of 2-minute tutorials. I highly recommend taking a look at them when you get the chance. As in Photoshop, you have a toolbar along the side that names the tools when you hover over them and provides more options when you click and hold. There is also a drop-down menu along the top and different icons that will open palettes along the right, such as stroke, transparency, and layers. Navigation is the same as the other Adobe CC programs you've learned, where Control plus and minus zoom in and out, spacebar pans, and double-clicking the hand icon zoom to fit the artboard. The Create New File window should look familiar. Set your page and orientation to 11 by 17, sometimes called tabloid, and landscape. You can start generating your graphics by adding shapes, lines, or text, or you can import a file to work with. PDFs are a special case, where Illustrator can treat them either as raster or vector, depending on how you bring the file into Illustrator. If you place your PDF, Illustrator will treat it as a raster image. The object can only be manipulated as a whole, not as individual lines and pixels. The other option is to open the PDF. Which opens the file as a vector, allowing you to use the white arrow tool, called the Direct Selection tool, to select subcomponents, such as lines or groups. It is highly recommended that you control all your line weights in AutoCAD before bringing the line work into Illustrator, and only changing the color or stroke of line work for the sake of diagramming, as in, if you wanted to highlight the structure in your dwelling. You could start by selecting one column line with the Direct Selection tool, then going up to Select, Same, and then choosing Same Stroke Weight. You can see the option to select other elements that are similar to your current selection in one or more ways. The program should select all of the lines with the same thickness if you choose Stroke Weight. You can also select by layer once your layers are organized by clicking on the Layers palette. We're going to set up 2 simple layers to start. One background, on which we will have our original image, and the second we're going to call foreground, and that's where we'll put our diagramming. You can change the layer of a selected object the same way as in InDesign, by dragging the colored square from one layer to the desired layer. The selection color of the object should change to correspond to the new layer color. There is a tool to make simple rectangles and regular polygons here. There is also the pen tool, which you can use to create a straight-edged polygon by clicking different points to connect. If you click and drag, the pen tool creates a curved segment, a Bezier curve. Like an object snap, if you come close enough to the open point, Illustrator will close the shape. Each point is called an anchor point, and you can change the form of your shape by adding or deleting anchor points, which are found under the pen tool. To add an anchor point, click on a portion of the line that you would like to be able to manipulate. Then use the Direct Select tool to grab and drag that or any other anchor point. The Delete Anchor Point tool works quite simply too. It just simplifies your shape by deleting anchor points. The fourth option under the pen tool allows you to click and drag to manipulate segments into curves, and then click once to convert them back to straight edges. You can also delete one handle of a curve, these are handles, to have a straight edge meet a curve. If you have a sharp corner that you want to round, say if we have a rectangle, simply use the Direct Select tool to choose a corner, and then make adjustments in the options bar at the top, defining whether you want it to be a curved anchor with handles or straight. You can change the radius of the corner here, or you can use this little plus icon that shows up next to the corner to drag and change your corner radius. Once your shape is defined, we can choose a fill color by selecting and choosing this square here, and then choosing any color. You can choose a different color for your line as well. Or we can go over to the Swatch Palette on the right. If you click the Swatch Library menu at the bottom left of the palette, there are a myriad of pattern and color options with which to fill your object. You can scroll through patterns ranging from a simple dotted filling to material textures to a colorful leopard jaguar animal print. You can also click and drag a swatch to fill. If you are looking for standard colors, it is best to use the print default in CMYK rather than the RGB presets offered. If you have multiple shapes with a relationship that you want to define, the Transparency Blend tools, as well as Align, Pathfinder, and Live Paint will help. Align and Distribute, found here, are great tools because they allow you to order objects with each other based on edges or center points. If I wanted to align the centers of these vertically, I would select both objects and then choose Vertical Align Center, and it puts them at the same center point. If I wanted to align this one and this one with their edge points, I could do that, or I could do Vertical Center and have them overlapping. The Transparency Blend tools are a series of options found in your Transparency palette and give blending options of how you want to define visibility of overlapped objects. Multiply is a good option because it shows both colors and shapes, but click through and play with the different blend options so you know what's available to you. Pathfinder is what we call Boolean operations, which is combining two objects in various ways. Select your two objects, then choose Join, Unite, Subtract, or Intersect. Play with the tools available here and hover over the icons for more intricate instructions and options to be listed. Note that the pathfinders automatically group the objects, and you may need to go into isolation mode to play with the different pieces with the Direct Select tool. Live Paint is another option for overlap shapes. Select your shapes, then go find the Paint Bucket tool and hold to choose Live Paint. Choose a color. This allows you to paint overlapped portions, reading their combined boundaries as the shape to fill, while still identifying the shapes separately so that you can go into isolation mode and still control their weights and their forms individually. You can use the pen tool to create a line just as simply as a polygon, but for both lines and shapes, the pencil tool is another option. Simply click and hold to draw. The key to the pencil tool can be found when you double-click the tool. An option box pops up that allows you to determine how many anchor points, or the fidelity of the curve. So if we choose smooth, it will take my wobbly drawn line and convert it to a smooth curve. If I choose accurate and draw a similar type of line, it will keep a lot of the bumps and the wiggles in my line, adding more anchor points. A key aspect of the pencil tool is the Edit Selected option in the option box. This means that whatever line I have selected, I can edit simply by redrawing the line. And it will take that portion instead, incorporating those changes into the existing line. The Smooth tool can change a portion of the line to become smoother by simply minimizing the anchor points. The Eraser tool, Path Eraser, lets you erase certain portions of the path selectively. To change the stroke weight of your line, use the stroke panel on the right. Here you can change the thickness of your line, as well as how the line behaves at corners and ends. There's also a dashed option in which you can define the length of the dash, as well as the gap between them. You can add arrowheads to each end of the line, and change their scale as well. Some other helpful tips in Illustrator would be to change the size of the eraser tool by double-clicking, as well as holding Option when dragging an object to make a copy. Hold Option and Shift to make a copy that is aligned with the original. And that should be all for Illustrator today.